Hi and welcome everyone. Lisa here for Whimsy Stamps. Thanks for taking the time to join me. So today I'm sharing two quick and simple masculine Valentine cards with you. I know a lot of us struggle with masculine cards. I struggle with them myself, and I did a card over on my YouTube channel that gave me an idea for the cards I'm sharing with you today. So I'm starting with the Shiplap background stamp. You guys know how much I love this stamp. And I've just inked it up with my VersaFine Clair Morning Mist ink. This is a gray ink. I love this gray ink with the Shiplap background stamp. And I've laid a piece of 80-pound Avalanche white cardstock over the inked up stamp. And I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper to go over that. And I'm going to hold the cardstock in place with one hand while I rub it with the other hand. So I'm just stamping this real quick is all I'm doing. Now, once I have this stamped, I'll go ahead and remove the scrap paper and pull my cardstock up. And then I'm going to trim it down to a rectangle. Now, you can cut yours to any size you want it. That is personal preference. And I went ahead and used the primitive shaker shapes hearts to go ahead and cut the largest heart out of the center of my panel. And I held on to that heart because we're going to use that on the second card. So this is again another 2-for-1. I really like doing that when I'm die cutting and I'm creating frames with my dies like I did here with this heart cutout. I like to just go ahead and use all the pieces and create 2 cards. So I did cut out 3 extra hearts with the smaller primitive heart shapes, and I'm going to use those as well. We're going to add mounting foam to the back of my frame and then go ahead and center it up on an A2 card base. So this is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. It's 110-pound Avalanche white cardstock that I'm using for my card base. And once I center this frame up on my card base, I'm going to add some liquid adhesive to the back of the red heart and go ahead and center it within that cutout heart. Of course, we're going to need a sentiment to go with this, so I'm using the mini alphabet stamp set because you guys, I love that stamp set when I want to create my own sentiments. And I do that a lot. I'm sure you're starting to notice that. I just like creating my own sentiments. There's so many things that I think of when I look at a stamp set and I'm like, oh, that would be really cute with that. So I'm so glad I have this little alphabet stamp set to do that with. So I'm going to stamp out real quick, Would You Be Mine? And I have my husband in mind with this card here. So once I stamp my sentiment out, I take it to the paper trimmer and trim it down. And we're going to add some mounting foam to the back of it and then go ahead and place it on our card. So as I'm doing this, I'm thinking to myself, it would be so neat if I personalized this since it's for my husband. So I'm going to use the bold ABC die set because I'm in love with that set. And I'm just going to cut out the A. So my husband's name is Aaron and it's spelled A-A-R-O-N. And there's a running joke that we call him A-Aron. So I thought it would be funny if I went ahead and stamped the rest of his name up the side of the A so it would read A-Aron. And I am going to stamp a real small heart from the Kiss Off stamp set on the end of that right next to the N. Now, if you're curious about the A-Aron, there's a video on YouTube with this comedian who does this whole spiel in a classroom and he pronounces all the kids' names wrong and it is so funny. And one of the kids in the class, his name is Aaron and he calls him A-Aron. And the whole thing is so funny, you would have to watch it. But he's like, you done messed up, A-Aron. And so I tell that to my husband all the time when he does something I don't like. You done messed up, A-Aron. So when I showed him this card, he started laughing. He was like, A-Aron, huh? And I was like, yep. So now that I have A-Aron stamped out here, I'm going to go ahead and add mounting foam to the back of this, centered up on the red heart. And then this card is finished. Now, if you wanted to, I suppose you could come in and add some type of metal, like metal embellishments, but I like it just the way that it is. I don't want to add anything else to it. It's clean, it's simple, and it gets straight to the point. Now, for the second card, I went a little bit different. So I'm back with the Shiplap background stamp, and I wanted the background on my stamp to be subtle. So I'm actually pulling some of that ink up, and I'm okay with the fact that some areas are going to be darker than other areas on my card base. So I have, again, my A2 card base, 110 pound, and I'm going to stamp directly onto the card base this time. And then we'll go ahead, lift this up, and you're going to see how there's a little variation in the light and dark, and that's perfect. That's what I wanted. So for the heart that we cut out from the first panel we did, I'm actually going to bring some gray ink in. Any gray ink you have will work. And I'm going to lightly blend over the first heart so that when I put this card together, it stands out a little bit more against that stamped background that we just did. Then we'll add mounting foam to the back of this heart and the back of the last two red hearts we have laying there. And we'll arrange those. And then it's so simple to finish this. All you have to do is stamp your sentiment that you want to use and add that sentiment strip. But I decided that this would be a good dad card. So I went ahead and die cut the word dad from the bold ABC die set and added that across the heart. And then, of course, I stamped Love You to Pieces from the mini alphabet stamp set and added my sentiment strip to that as well. And that's pretty much going to wrap up those cards. It's so easy. So here you can see the bold dad word and then the Love You to Pieces sentiment that I stamped out. These cards came together in less than 20 minutes. They were so simple, but I love the feel of them. They're very clean, they're very simple, and they have a nice masculine feel to them. So I really do appreciate you guys joining me. As always, for more information on the products I used, they're in the description box below, linked for you. And then you can hop right over to the Whimsy Stamps website and check them out over there. Until next time, take care.